urban districts were always at the bottom. And being in Camden, I fought hard to have progress appreciated because we didn't have all the funds that we needed to do a thorough and efficient job. And I still feel that way. I think we need to look at the successes that we have here in this school district. I can compare this district with a number of districts in South Jersey. We have a great deal for which to be proud. And even though they say we have not met AYP, we have met tremendous success. These two young ladies sitting here is evidence of the quality of education we have in this school system. Young ladies, where did you go to elementary school?
Central and Delaware.
And where?
Central and Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben Franklin.
And Ben Franklin. Well, they must be in some other suburban community, aren't they? You mean to tell me they're in our school and we produce young people like this? I got a shock today. I don't know with whom I was speaking, but somebody said that George Norcross and Sweeney were both residents and students in our schools. And yet they're the two power brokers in the state of New Jersey, and yet Pennsauken schools don't do anything. And I could keep going. I could keep going. You asked a good question. And when you asked it, I began to reflect. What I think they're going to do, number one, this is an excellent report. Whoever put it together, it's an excellent report. And those action plans are very, very important. And when they come, they better see progress in those action plans. If they don't, then we aren't doing anything. But I feel confident that they're going to see where there's progress. As I listened to him make his presentation, I heard a word that is significant, and it starts with M. Do you remember what that word was? Second letter is O, and I'm not a great speller. Monitor. I heard him say we're going to monitor. And that's crucial, that we watch in segments of time how much progress we're making. And if we aren't making progress, then we need to go back to the planning board and decide what we're going to do to make progress, right? Because every one of those actions that you put up there, every one is obtainable. Every one. And I feel comfortable that that team coming in will be happy with the progress. I'm happy with what I saw on the screen. So we know what we're doing, we know how to do it. Even though we don't have all the dollars that we need to do it. As I speak, I say we don't provide a thorough and efficient education because we don't have the resources. But we do a good job with the dollars that we have. And that's our commitment. That's our commitment. And if anybody can refute that, I'll be glad to try to change, but I don't think I will change on that. We do too much cutting of budgets to think that we can provide a thorough and efficient. We spent a lot of time on this tonight. The high school, ladies and gentlemen, is the most important school in this district. Oh no, the elementary schools are important and the middle schools are important. Yes, they are. They're crucial to the success. They are crucial. But ladies and gentlemen, if this high school is not effective, then it's been a waste of time. We have to make the high school as effective as possible. We say it is the flagship. It is the flagship. And we need to make it as strong so that these two young ladies who will leave here and they will be successful in life, and they went through the Pennsauken school system. There are a great number of them like that out there that have gone through our school. And yes, I get disturbed, and I shouldn't, because people are taking their kids to other schools. They have a right to do that. And I have a right to be upset about it. Because I feel, and probably can prove, that our teachers and administrators, secretaries, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, on and on, custodians, are just as good as any around. That's my problem. I have to learn not to get upset about it. Because they have a right to go wherever they want. This is a good report. I thank you for it. And we're not going to satisfy Kappa. We're going to satisfy us. Because we want the best that we can for these beautiful young people that have been given to us to mold. And I'm saying we've got the stuff to do it. I don't care what Kappa, Lappa, Dappa, or Sappa. Okay? So thank you for that. Oh, excuse me.
It appears that the chart that I see here is a fairly good chart. It seems to have a balanced formula. I'm looking at, I have two concerns.
Sure.
One concern is there's no mention of special needs here. And I know we have a population of special needs.
Large population.
So I'm trying to figure out what is the formula for that and what's the plan. Most facilities that I've been engaged with have a go-to person for special needs, which is very important. It's costly, and we do need somebody to take a look at it. That's part one.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's take a shot at that. I think I know, but I think we're better. The special needs.
Yeah, I'll definitely, I'll try to take a shot. I would say right now, currently, what we have is we have a K-12 special ed supervisor for the district. So that area, solely for the high school, I think is what you're asking, right, Mr. Starkville, for special needs?
Yeah, that would be a concern. I think that you would need someone, a K-12 supervisor, is simply that. But someone that's on site in the facility, I think there's a strong need for that.
I'll just jump in real quick. One thing is, really in the last couple of weeks, we've really, after having conversations with, really especially Kurt and Dr. Johnson, looking at going with the model of an assistant principal by grade level. That's something we really looked at. I would say this document right here is something we can add and subtract responsibility for. And to be honest with you, an oversight on my part was with Mr. Ambrose. I didn't even list there with the oversight of DSL. So I mean, as we move forward, I do see this somewhat fluid to move. But and I would just, it's not necessarily special ed, and I would say it's something we could look at in the building to provide that. One thing that Mr. McGovern is doing, and it's not special needs by any stretch of the imagination, that IRS committee, which is somewhat of looking at services for students, that's an area, but that's not special needs. My one concern is obviously what we're giving each assistant principal. Obviously, number one priority, we kept saying it over and over, climate, culture, dealing with kids. We need to deal with kids. We need to do that. But then we're also saying all those other things we're adding to that. But that's a conversation that we could have.
Yeah, it's a good question, and one we'll have to look more closely at. But I know we have a supervisor, and we have a director that sits on special aid.
I understand.
And that'll be one of, I mean, the high school is one of her major focuses.
And I'll just jump into, and I know it's not directly what you're asking, but we do have the child study team located in my office, and I oversee them as well as the rest of the counseling
But
department.
do you have a special needs background?
Not necessarily. I don't have a direct special needs teaching background.
That, I understand. And when we utilize our staff, we want to look at where their strengths are.
Yeah, as much as possible.
So I do want that, I would like that considered, and that should be considered because that is a professional track that everyone wants to take. So I do have a concern. Now, I understand that we have K-12 supervisors, but that's what they are. They're supervisors. They are not building administrators. And that's something that we need to talk about as we move up the road. We do have directors, and that's what they are, directors. They are not building hands-on, day-to-day people. They're
Yeah,
not in those facilities.
they're not day-to-day.
They are
You're
not
right,
in
they're
those
not in the
facilities.
facility.
And I have an issue with that when it comes to having someone that's in the facility that can be there in an expeditious fashion.
I would just say, particularly for this area,
Particularly
That-
for
that
this area.
she-
It's a large budgetary area.
Yeah,
I
it's-
understand that we have a director, and I'm just want to know where.
what I would hope is
where
that
sits.
you're suggesting we have an individual there.
I would like to see in the high school, there should be someone
No, I agree. I don't-
that
I
has
disagree
the
with that.
special needs expertise to be able to
Okay,
address
we'll look at that.
special
and
needs issues,
see.
because as was just mentioned, we do have child study teams. There's a formula for that.
Yeah.
There's regs and procedures for that. And that's another course of action. So I don't see that here.
Okay.
The other thing is, I'm looking at, I need to be convinced that an assistant principal for guidance, I've never seen that before, as long as I've been in education. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, there
I've
is-
seen and you need to help me.
Yeah.
I have seen a guidance, someone in guidance that was chosen in leadership from the guidance department, because that is, again, that's another area of road to travel.
I know a district where that role is a vice principal's role. Generally, it is a director, not the same kind of director as the directors that we have for curriculum instruction and what have you, but a director, a person that's responsible for that group of persons. Here, we're calling it vice principal, others will call it director.
Can I just speak to that for 1 second?
Sure.
As I meet with the directors of counseling from all the schools in Camden County, you're right, most of them are directors. There are a few that are assistant principals. I think we're actually at an advantage because they're limited in their supervisory roles to the guidance department. Whereas the fact that we have an assistant principal doing that assistant principal is not limited to only dealing with the guidance department. For example, I can and do observe teachers and evaluate, in all the departments throughout the school, where if you're only qualified as a guidance director, you're not able to do that. So we basically stealing a little bit away from the director's job to be able to help out with the rest
I
of the
understand.
stuff.
And to take that further, I've also seen a head of guidance, which did not bring all those certificates,
Right.
that got the job done just as efficient as anybody else. So I do have some concern being
Yeah,
convinced that that is a strong area of need. And especially when one of the major points that Pennsauken High School has been having is school climate. We need as much hands-on, daily visibility for the operations of the facility.
And the
So
guidance.
when I see things like this, knowing what the priority essentials have been from the climate and the makeup of the facility, I would like to know, be convinced how we can afford the luxury of having it.
Well, we need someone in charge.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
I think I can try hard to convince you.